Illinois is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to Chairman Ryan for your leadership on this issue. Really appreciate the Ways and Means Committee allowing me, a non-committee member, to be able to take this important piece of legislation to the floor today. Today, this Congress has an opportunity to work in a bipartisan way to promote religious liberty and, frankly, Mr. Speaker, fairness. H.R. 2061, the EACH Act, does this by modestly expanding the religious conscience exemption under the Affordable Care Act to include individuals like Christian Scientists who rely solely on religious methods of healing. The existing religious conscience exemption under the Affordable Care Act exclusively applies, as Chairman Ryan said, to a few certain sects of faith. As a result, many Americans, like I mentioned before, the Christian Scientists, are required to purchase medical health insurance that does not cover their health care of their religious practice or choice. Alternatively, they're forced to pay tax penalties for not purchasing such insurance. A similar version of the EACH Act passed this House unanimously under the suspension of the rules during the last Congress. In order to improve the bill, as Mr. Levin, my colleague, stated, modest changes to this bill's language were made with input from the Department of Treasury, the Department of Health and Human Services, and other key stakeholders. Under this bill's new language, applicants must annually attest to the exchange that they are a member of a religious group, that they rely solely on a religious method of healing, and that they have not received medical health services during the preceding taxable year. Additionally, with the help of input from the American Academy of Pediatrics, the bill now makes it clear that the legislation does not preempt any state laws requiring the provision of medical treatment for children. Further, if a parent needs to provide necessary medical services to a child, doing so would not invalidate the individual's exemption. The EACH Act is truly an example of bipartisan legislation with input from stakeholders to make it better. As of today, it has more than 100 Republican and more than 60 Democratic co-sponsors. I am particularly proud to have worked with my friend and colleague, Mr. Keating, on moving this legislation forward. He knows this issue well. His home state of Massachusetts established a similar religious conscience exemption in state law, and it is working just as planned. Mr. Speaker, I also represent Principia College in Elsa, Illinois. It's a college for Christian Scientists, and I'm proud to stand up and promote their religious liberty and that of many others in this great nation. I urge a yes vote, and I yield back the balance of my time.